Hey, what's up, guys? It is Rapmark here doing my review for episode 9 of Andor. Nobody's listening. So, this one, I have to say, it took a really, really dark turn. Man, you have oh my gosh, the themes in here just. It was super dark. So, I mean, you essentially have someone being euthanized. Uh, it's realized that um, no one in this prison that Cassian's currently in will ever be let go, and they're willing to kill people for a lot of people for uh, causing any sort of trouble about that. Um, Man, yeah, it was. Oh, and the torture. Good grief. So, I mean, we begin that, Miro has caught Bix. And she has a Miss Dr. Gorst who has been perfecting a sort of torture mechanism that used the screams of alien children that they annihilated to set up some sort of naval base. Um, but yeah, apparently some officers were listening to these screams as their people were being annihilated, and after it was done, like they found these officers just completely mentally messed up in various states of distress. And so not only did they play it, but he layered it and remixed it to the point where it's just like the perfect torture device, and it can cause like permanent brain damage. It's insane, and you don't hear it on screen because I mean, like, it's one of those things where it's better to have it talked about and heard about than actually know what it is. It's kind of like a horror movie in that respect. It's more scary because you don't know, and then you see the effect of it, and you're just like, "Good grief, what do these screams sound like?" Uh, so yeah. Um, Now she doesn't find anything about Luthen, but she does know that Cassian was involved in the Aldani attack. So they were able to catch her a rebel pilot who is under Anto Krieger, which is a faction of the rebels, because this is before the rebels were unified, um, and they were sectionally factionalized. I mean, you saw that with Saw Gerrera. Um, and now with Anto Krieger, you'll probably see some more. Um, yeah, and she sort of establishes the this whole theft of imperial uh, like equipment, going toward that. Um, Also happens. Let's see. So Mon Mothma unites with Vel, who it is established is her cousin. Um, but she's not married. Rich family, which makes sense of what Syntha said about her the last time we saw her. And the rebellion comes first. So essentially, she's there just for the day. Let's see. But yeah, so there's that. Um, and then on Colma, they continue to try to figure out things, and at this point, like legitimate ways of like moving money are just it's too dang hard. So she essentially has to use this thug gangster. So what does this mean? He's probably a member or the head of a cartel. This he needs she needs to meet with Davos Skulden. So it's assumed that he's either the head or a member of one of the many crime cartels that we know and love throughout Star Wars lore, and she is very much against it. But I mean, he's running out of options at this point because they are clamping down, and the huge amounts of money that are being moved, like 400,000 credits, that is there and then vanishes, and they're auditing her accounts, so she has to figure out what to do with it. um and then back at the prison, Cassian, he's trying to get his the floor supervisor Kino to help escape, and he's just like, no, I'm 217 shifts away from being out, and that is that. But at some point, an older member of the work crew, Olaf, he has a stroke, and well, before that, so anyway, during a shift, like he's starting to slow up, but he's still okay. But they're in a hallway, and one of them like talks via hand signals, arm signals to other prisoners in other levels, and some of them were really quickly saying something about floor 2, and then there was a power outage, and just like, what happened? So you're kind of stuck with that. And then the next day, they're sort of talking about how something happened on floor 2, and then the entire floor was killed, essentially. That something happened with a prisoner, and they were killed. So it doesn't really spell it out, but it's just like, wow, what the heck happened? What's going on? And so anyway, we go back to Olaf having a stroke. The doctors called. Cassian and Kino stay behind, and essentially the doctor says there's nothing he can do for him. He's had a stroke. He's just going to be like that the rest of his life. But they're in a work camp, so essentially he's going to be put to death anyway. So he just gives him some sort of poison, I guess, that kills him. And then they both ask what happened on floor 2, and he confirms it. One of the prisoners who was released from floor 4 was sent back to floor 2, and someone recognized him, and this caused like a huge outcry, and the Imperials had no choice but well, I mean, they had a choice, but they essentially killed everybody to prevent word from getting out that this happened, to prevent them from knowing that yeah, they ain't never getting out of here. So man, it was super dark. I mean, it's so messed up. uh and then you get to you know, Cassie and Kino walk off, and Kino goes from like this completely against it, just wants to finish his time, to it's just like, how many guards are there on the floor? And he's like, no more than 12. And man, I love it. He stole the show. So yeah, Andy Serkis is, again, I've said this before. He's one of my favorite actors, favorite directors as well. Man, he really he really stole the show on this one, and I was impressed for how little screen time he got. He stole the show. But man, everything, it was just everything's so dark. Like, you essentially, like, again, you have someone euthanized because, and that's considered a kindness because essentially they're going to be there the rest of their lives. You have an entire floor murdered to cover up. I don't know if it was a mistake or if it's just they recycled them, so they just never know when they're gonna leave and whatnot. But man, and then you have the whole family bond between Mon and Vel. It's just so amazingly dark. And again, once again, like the rebellion, like they're broke and they're running out of legitimate ways to run money, so now they have to rely on these underground cartels, uh, gangsters essentially, to actually move money. Very gray area. And of course, you have the rebellion. It's still split up. You have all these hotheads and people not wanting to work together. It's like there was there was no happy ending to this episode, and it was just all really dark and depressing, but it was done so well, and I enjoyed it because this is some real build up. This is an insane amount of build up, and I'm there for it. And once again, I will say that once again, the whole serialized once a week thing just does not work well for this. I'm personally okay with it, but I get it that people don't like that and why people just want to wait until it's out and then binge watch it. By all means, do that. But watch this show. This show is amazing. So some of the other things, like some of the scenes in here, just didn't seem like they were really needed. Like the whole Mon and Vel and well, no, I like that one, but Mon and Coma again. It essentially seemed like a lot of screen time to essentially just get one thing done, and I don't know. There were some things where it's just like I wish there was more to those scenes, you know. And the ones with Vel in this one, that definitely felt like that. And oh my gosh, I almost forgot. Cyril Karn, he is also in this. So essentially, after their meeting, she gives him a clean bill of health. Miro gives him a clean bill of health, so he gets promoted. And it's so weird. Like his mom goes from like just ripping on him and making him feel like crap to just like I knew they would see the potential within it. It's just like, man, this is such a toxic relationship with his mom. It's oh, but yeah. Anyway, so he goes, and apparently he's like stalking out Miro, and it's like some sort of weird connection between the two because she points out, like, I don't know, like I'm not sure whether or not why she's so reluctant to take his help, but he is all about bringing justice. Like he points it out, it's a deranged sense of justice, and there's a connection. And she points out many times, like, he's in big trouble. She could report him, and he could go away for the rest of his life. So I mean, there has to be some sort of in like intrigue in her. Like she has to be intrigued with him on some level, because she's not reporting him at all. You know it. So, I mean, I guess we'll see where that goes next episode. I mean, holy crap! I'm wondering where this goes. Uh, but yeah, it seemed a bit short. Uh, and it's just like we kind of like I just want there to be more, but again, like I said, this is best treated as a movie split into 3 episodes, and like viewed the arcs at a time, this series is amazing. So, and even the episodes, I'm still loving. The dialogue's great. You know the actors, they and actresses, they just do so well. Like there's so little that I can complain about this show. You know, just some pacing issues, or maybe some story points aren't fleshed out enough for their inclusion in an episode. You know, things like that. But for the most part, this is like probably one of the best things in Star Wars I've seen since for a long time. I'll say that. So what would I give this? I'm gonna give this one an 8 again. I mean, this thing is, you know, through and through, great. I don't think I've gone lower than an 8. Did I even have a 7 at one point? Howie. No, I don't even think I had a 7 at some point. I think they've all been 8 and 9s. No 10s. Wait, no. Yeah, the actual heist one. I think I gave that one a 10. Yeah, it was. Yeah, this show has just been one, you know, thing knocked out of the ballpark after another. I just hope the payoff at the very end is worth the whole season, because I am loving all these episodes and all these characters, and I want to see more. And I'm glad that they are working on a season 2. So anyway, yeah, 9 out of 10, or not 8 out of 10 for this one. Um, yeah, so I think that's it for this. And I will see you guys next time. See ya.